Hi everyone, welcome back. Today is a little bit of a different video for me. I'm going to be doing a shop my stash, but we're going to be shopping my stash for my project pan items of 2025. So I mentioned in the last video that you saw, my everyday makeup drawer, that I wanted to incorporate a project pan this year, a more laid back project pan with not so many dedicated update videos, just using products that I would like to use up or I would like to hit pan on or are old, something like that. And that's kind of my thinking behind the products that I picked. I didn't plan this out beforehand. I just kind of went through my collection with you and kind of talked about each thing and just kind of picked. So that is today's video. We're picking the products and then we do a get ready with me at the end. But these are the products you can expect to be in my project pan for the year, I'm guessing. Maybe I'll switch it up like halfway through. I don't really know. But I hope you enjoyed this style of project pan video. Let me know if you're doing a project pan, if you like this type of content. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, my hope for this is that I maybe will be a little bit more successful with a project pan if I do it this way and I don't feel so much pressure to make an update at certain points of time throughout the year. That's kind of how I felt in the past, was it kind of became a chore. And if I felt like I didn't have enough to really show in the video, I didn't want to film it, and then I just put it off and then it would never get filmed. So I'm going to try this style out this year and see how it goes. But that is today's video. If you are new here, my name is Blair, and I would love for you to subscribe. I do a lot of different beauty content here on my channel, and we would love to have you. But let's just get started with the video, and we'll start with picking the project pan items. Let's pick my project pan items. I did not plan this out beforehand, so I'm just gonna kind of go with whatever comes to mind, whatever I feel like choosing. I've not done my project pan in this way before. Usually I pick the products and I just show them to you, but I thought it would be fun to mix it up and I'll choose them with you. But just know I don't really have a plan. I'm just kind of going for whatever speaks to me. I'm thinking I will choose between 10 and 15 products. I'm definitely not going to choose more than 15 because that's too much for me. That'll just overwhelm me and that defeats the whole point. I would say 10 to 15 and we'll just see how many I end up with. Starting with this drawer, which is my complexion drawer. So foundation, primer, concealer, and corrector. I do want to choose a primer because realistically I have quite a few primers and I don't need this many. I truly don't, but I have this fascination with wanting to try primers. So I do want to include a primer, and the one that just is kind of jumping at me is this one. Now this is probably my favorite primer. It's in like my top 2 of all primers, the iconic London Underglow blurring primer. This kind of does everything. It's slightly blurring, but I use the word slight because this is not gonna like totally erase your pores. I mean, nothing is gonna erase your pores, but this one I would say just kind of adds a little bit of smoothness to the skin. I wouldn't necessarily call it blurring, but it's kind of a serumy texture, so it gives you some hydration, some glow, and a little bit of just a smooth canvas for makeup. So this is a really good primer and I do enjoy it. I feel like this is one that I won't have to like force myself to use, and because of the packaging you can pretty easily see the progress on it. So I think product number 1 is going to be this one from iconic London. Now, I've been debating on if I wanted to put a foundation in or skin tint. I have in the past, and my main hesitation with doing that is that this is the product of pretty much everything that I switch up quite a bit, just because it kind of depends on the day, how my skin is, if I'm filming something. I switch up my complexion product quite a bit, so I don't know how realistic it is for me to include one of these in a project pan, because I just don't know if I'm going to use it consistently enough. So that's kind of my thought process on these. I do for sure want to use or want to choose a corrector, which my correctors are over here because I have a lot of these. I do a lot of content around correctors, and some of mine are definitely on the older side, and those are the ones that I kind of want to focus on. So what I'm thinking is one of my cream correctors, so possibly this one from Charlotte Tilbury, because this is one of my oldest ones, if not my oldest. This may be the oldest one actually, now that I think about it. This is the Magic Vanish corrector. This is a great corrector. I don't use it as much anymore for no reason really, other than so many good correctors have come out in the last few years. But this is great. It gives a lot of coverage. This is like medium to full coverage color corrector, similar to like the Bobbi Brown or the Pixie one. I was also kind of debating the Bobbi Brown because I also love Bobbi Brown. And actually I just hit pan on this the other day accidentally. There's like a tiny little pan right there. I don't know if you can see it. So I kind of want to choose one of these. I'm just kind of struggling on which one. And then part of me is like, well, maybe I should choose Charlotte Tilbury because I did hit pan on this already. I mean, it's like a teeny tiny little pan, but I have not hit pan on this, and I'm shocked that I haven't, because this, I mean, it has a really big dip in it, but no pan. So maybe we'll go Charlotte Tilbury. I'm pretty sure this is my oldest one of all of them, and I don't have pan in it, but I have a really big dip in it. So let's go with Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish for product number 2. And then my concealers are over on this side. I feel like concealer would maybe be a better choice than a foundation, just because I feel like I could stick with more consistently using a concealer than I could a foundation or a skin tint. So for concealer, so I considered putting in my NARS Soft Matte Concealer, but not this one. This one is a newer one. It's a little bit deeper, so I typically use this like in the summertime. So this wouldn't really match me right now. But I do have one in my everyday makeup drawer this month that you probably saw like right before this video. That shade in Madeline is on the older side, and I would like to use that concealer up. So that was something I was kind of considering, but the other thing I was considering is this. So this is Hourglass Vanish Airbrush Concealer in the shade Silk. This is definitely one of my oldest concealers in my collection. I have another shade in Cedar. Cedar is a little bit darker than this, but that's a newer shade, a newer concealer. I've had this one for much longer, and I do really like the Hourglass concealer, so I don't think this would be one that would be difficult for me to use. So I'm kind of thinking about this or this one from Catrice, the True Skin High Cover Concealer in Cool Cashmere. This is my favorite drugstore concealer. Probably if I had to pick one, it would be this one. And I really would like to use this up. I think there's still a good bit in here, but it's definitely on the older side in my collection of all my concealers. Maybe I won't choose NARS because it's in my everyday makeup this time, but I feel like it needs to be one of these two. You know what? I'm kind of thinking maybe Catrice, mainly because this one is a little bit more hydrating than the Hourglass concealer, and right now I'm kind of looking for things that are a little more hydrating. So I kind of want to go with this. So I'm thinking product number 3 will be this Catrice True Skin concealer, and I think that's going to be it for this drawer. So we have 3 products so far. Moving into this drawer, so we have face palettes, bronzers, powders, and highlighters in here. I'm definitely not going to choose a highlighter because that's just not something that I could realistically make a lot of progress on. I don't even use highlighter every day. So no highlighter. I do want to choose a powder though, and there's one like super obvious choice here, and I'm thinking I'm just going to go with the obvious one. And it's this sad little Kosas Cloud Set powder. And I have tried to pan this before, and I always feel like I'm making progress, but then I just never, I don't know, I feel like it's looked like this for the longest time. But this is without a doubt my oldest powder. And I like this powder a lot. It does really annoy me that the packaging is like this because it's kind of hard to store, but I would really, really, really like to use this up, or get closer to it, I should say. So I think product number 4 has to be the Kosas Cloud Set powder. And then I was kind of debating putting either a loose powder in here or a powder foundation in here, just to have like 2 different options, because the Kosas powder, it doesn't really give coverage like a powder foundation, and I wouldn't say it's the same in terms of being able to set makeup as a loose powder. So part of me was kind of wanting to put a loose powder in as well, like maybe even this. I love this powder foundation. This is Jane Iredale, the Pure Pressed powder foundation. And as you can see, I've used this quite a bit. You can see like all the rings in it. This is really a great powder foundation. It has SPF in it, and this shade for me is a really good shade match. I think the shade is Enlighten, maybe. I'll have to put it in the description box because I have to pop this out and I can't remember. But I kind of want to put this in. Maybe we will. I kind of want to have a powder foundation in too. So I think product number 5 will be the Jane Iredale Pure Pressed powder foundation. Okay, and then bronzer. So bronzers are in this area. This I've kind of given some thought to, and honestly I can't really come to a decision here because I feel like there's several that I could choose here. Like I have this Chanel Healthy Glow bronzing cream that is definitely expired, but I just can't bring myself to get rid of it. Every time I try to, I end up keeping it. And obviously I'm not going to use this up. I have a ton of product in here, but part of me kind of wants to put this one in. But there's another bronzer that I love that I have hit pan on, but I would like to use this up, the Fenty cream bronzer. This one is in Butta Biscuit. Mine looks very crusty and scary. This is such a good cream bronzer. This has been my favorite for me for a long time. So part of me wants to really try to use this all the way up because I love this. The shade is impeccable for me. This is shade Butta Biscuit. So part of me kind of wants to choose that. And then in terms of a powder, I feel like a powder bronzer is going to be really hard. But I don't know, I kind of want to put one in just to see. I struggle with powder bronzer a lot because I feel like it's one of those things where I tend to go for cream bronzer more than powder bronzer. And when I apply powder bronzer, I don't go like crazy with it because then I always feel like it can look a little patchy, and I'm just not a huge fan of how it looks. So I don't apply a ton of it when I do apply it. Like we could do this one. This is Gucci in the shade 01. That's a very ambitious choice, but I'm trying to think of bronzers too that would work well for my skin tone right now because I'm very, very fair right now. This is another one that works well for me right now. Hourglass Nude Bronze Light. This one, I feel like that would take a really long time to hit pan on, but I also kind of want to put it in. I don't know why. I feel like I really want to put a powder bronzer in, even though that's gonna be a stretch in terms of progress. We've got House Labs bronzer. This is another really good one, although I think right now the Hourglass one would probably be a better shade. I kind of want to put this in for some reason, so let's Let's do Hourglass Ambient Lighting Bronzer. So that one is product number 6. And then I just need to figure out if I want to do a cream or no. If I do, I feel like I'm going to do one of these two, the Chanel or the Fenty. I kind of want to do this one. See if, I don't know if I'll use it up, but I can try. Plus this one's really old. Okay, so product 7 is Fenty Cream Bronzer in Butta Biscuit, and I think that should be everything for this drawer. Moving on to blush, of course. Now, blush is an even harder category than bronzer, I think, just because I feel like it's so freaking hard to make progress on a blush. Now, I know for me, obviously, it's going to be much harder because I have a lot of makeup, but still, I just feel like blush, no matter how much makeup you have, is just kind of that's a difficult category. But I want to choose, obviously, one. I'm trying to decide if I want to do 2 from here or just 1. Okay, for some reason, this is not even that old. I mean, this is an old product in terms of how long it's been on the market, but for me, I have not had this for very long, but this blush, I feel like, is a realistic choice in terms of something that I could use a lot over and over and over, just because it's so neutral and pretty much goes with everything. But obviously I don't think I'm gonna hit pan on this because this is not an old product, but I kind of want to put this in just because I love it. And I feel like I could realistically actually continually use this color. But this is Tarte in the shade Exposed, which that's been around forever. Not a new product at all, but I think I bought this during, I think there was a sale on these for like one day at Sephora. They were 50% off or something. I don't know, but I haven't had it for that long. But there was one month when I had this in my everyday makeup drawer, and I won't say I used it every day, but I used this really, really consistently and loved it. So I kind of want to go for this and just see if I could make any progress on it at all. So I think we will go with this. So number 8 is Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in Exposed. And then, okay, the other one is something that I've kind of been thinking about already, and it kind of goes with the Tarte blush, but I feel like it's realistic for me, and it's this from Mario. This is the Soft Pop Blush Veil in the shade Barely Blushing. There's a pretty decent dip in this already, just because this blush, I mean, for me and my skin tone and what I like, this is perfect. It's kind of balmy, a little bit glowy. It's not super pigmented. It's neutral, kind of goes with pretty much everything. And I just love this formula. I feel like I might be able to hit pan on this, honestly. And it goes well with that Tarte blush in Exposed. So I think number 9, is that right? I think that's right. Number 9, Mario Soft Pop Blush Veil in Barely Blushing. And that is going to be it for blush. All right, moving into the eye drawer. So this is mainly eyeliners, mascaras, any type of eyeshadow, and brow product. So in the past, I've always chosen a brow product. I'm kind of torn on that because I feel like brows are like an easy thing to use up. It kind of like mascara. I feel like brows and mascara are kind of easy ones. Unless I chose something in the brow category that I don't use a ton. Like, it's not a favorite for me, so like I wouldn't choose my NYX Micro Brow because realistically I am going to use this up because I've been through like 10 or 20 of these, honestly. So I wouldn't choose something like that or something like Build a Brow because these I do go through really, really regularly. Unless I chose something like this. Wow, this is another favorite product, but I haven't hit pan on this. This is my ABH Brow Powder Duo, and if you've been around for a little while, you will know how much I love a brow powder. This is like one of my favorite things for eyebrows. I just think using powder looks so pretty and natural. I just love it. So I considered choosing this or one of my pencils that I don't use as often, like this NYX powder pencil. This is really nice. I just don't use it as much as some of my other things. Or let's see. I also have this Victoria Beckham Baby Blade brow pencil. This I also like, but I don't love it. You know, it's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't use this one nearly as much as a lot of my other things. So I could choose something like this. Maybe we'll come back to brows and we'll move into eyes. So I have shadow sticks right here, single shadows here, little mini palettes here, and then my bigger palettes are over there. I'm thinking, honestly, I kind of want to put this palette in, the Tartelette in Bloom. Okay, this palette and this palette, also from Tarte, this is the Aspen Ovard palette. These are my two oldest eye products by far. And I still love them both. I've tried to declutter them both and I always end up keeping them. So I kind of want to put one of these two in. This palette I should absolutely probably get rid of. Number one, because it was limited edition, you can't get it. And it's really old, but I just can't do it. Like, I just love this palette. It reminds me of when I first really started getting in makeup, and it just makes me happy and I just can't get rid of it. So part of me kind of wants to put this in just to see if, like, I don't know how I've not hit pan on this color right here because I've used it so much. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there's like a giant dip in that color right there. But the other part of me is like, well, maybe I should do this. Maybe we'll do Tartelette in Bloom. At least this one's not limited edition, and this one's not quite as old as the other one, but it's definitely getting there. But I feel like I could hit pan potentially on any of these right here. Any of these 6, because they've all got like decent dips in them. If you look really close, you probably can't see it, but I think product number 10 is going to be Tartelette in Bloom. The only other eyeshadow I considered was one of these singles down here. So I have like, this shadow is definitely on the older side, this Rim Beauty. This is one of the matte liquid shadows in the shade Later. This is definitely on the on the older side. It's very well loved, as you can see. But this is one that I still love, and I feel like I could, if not use it up, I could get really, really close. So I was kind of considering that, or like one of my Armani matte shadows, because this formula and the Rim formula, these are my favorite 2 liquid eyeshadows. My absolute favorite will be the Armani one. So I kind of want to put this in also. I also don't want to choose too many things, because then I feel like this is going to be even harder if I go overboard in choosing the products. Maybe we'll do Rim. I'm changing my mind. This one, I think this one's a little bit older than the Armani, and I feel like I could realistically almost use this up. So I think number 11 will go with this Rim Beauty matte eyeshadow. I was also thinking about putting an eyeliner in, maybe this one from Mario. This is the Master Pro Pigment Liner in the Perfect Brown. This one I really like. It's very similar to Victoria Beckham in Cocoa, and I prefer the Victoria Beckham just because this one, I'm not going to do it, but the tip of this pencil kind of, it will come like all the way out, like just fall out. That kind of happens to these, I think, once you get towards the end. I don't really know why, but I would like to use this up because realistically, I don't really need this and the Victoria Beckham one because it's basically the same thing. And this one is much older than the Victoria Beckham, so I'm thinking about putting this in, because even if I don't wear eyeliner in or on my lash line, this is a good one for the waterline as well. Even on days when I don't do anything on the eyes, I could do a little bit of this in the waterline maybe. So I think we will do this one. So product 12 is the Mario Master Pro Pigment Eyeliner in the Perfect Brown. And then I'm just trying to make a decision on the brow products. Let me pull these out so I can see a little bit better. I kind of want to put this in and see if I can hit pan on it. The ABH brow powder. I should probably do a pencil instead just because I don't use those as often as I use this, but I kind of want to do this one. Okay, I think we're going to go for this ABH brow powder in medium brown. All right, so that should be product number 13. And that is everything for this drawer. Last, we have the lip drawer. Now, okay, so we're on, I believe we have 13 products. So I'm not going to choose more than 15, which is fine. So we'll choose 2 from here. So I definitely want to do a lip liner, and then I'll choose 1 regular lip product from over here. But as you can see, I have a lot of lip liners, and lip liner is kind of one of those categories like foundation that I constantly am like wanting to use a different one. So for that reason, this is going to be kind of difficult, but I love lip liner. And I feel like lip liner is something that you can, it's kind of easy to see progress on because you can measure the length and see the length kind of gradually get smaller and smaller. So I feel like I do want to put one of these in. I just have no idea which one. It needs to be like a very neutral color, like a neutral brown probably, that goes with everything. We could always go with a Mario lip pencil since I have so many of them. And it's one of my favorites, so I feel like I wouldn't have trouble trying to use it because I already do use it very consistently. This might be a good one to do. Makeup Forever, the Artist Pencil in Anywhere Caffeine. This is the original one. So the original wooden pencil. I also have the new version somewhere. Here it is. Yeah, I have the new one that's like the extreme pencil in Anywhere Caffeine. But this is just like a classic wooden lip liner. I really like it. It goes with most things that I wear on my lips. So this might be a good one to choose. So I think 14 will be Makeup Forever Artist Pencil in Anywhere Caffeine. And then, okay, one more lip product. Should I choose a gloss? Should I choose... Actually, I'm going to answer my own question. Yes, I should choose a lip gloss because of all lip products, I am a gloss person and I reach for a gloss the most. So I should choose a gloss. I just need to choose which one. We've got Fenty in Fussy, or this is Heat actually, Fenty Heat in Fussy. One of my favorite glosses in my collection. That's definitely on the older side. I also have Fenty Glass Slipper. Honestly, all 3 of my Fenties are on the older side, but I love this formula. One of my favorite glosses ever. So that's an option. Or, so I have 2 of these from Patrick Ta. The one on the top is the newer one. This one is in She's Expensive. So this is like a clear gloss with a lot of glitter in it. So there's not a lot of base color. It basically just gives your lips like that kind of wet, glossy look, which I love. Kind of like a lip topper. This is my newer shade. This one I've had for a long time. This is She's an Influencer, and it's more of a pinky gloss. It doesn't give a lot of a pink color, but it does give you a little bit. I love this gloss. I feel like realistically, I could use that one quite a bit. I have those Armani glosses, but those are not really old. I have this Milk gloss. I'm trying to choose something that is not a newer product. I feel like I should choose one of these Fenty ones. I just don't know which one. We've got Fenty Heat. Honestly, Sweet Mouth might be the smartest one. Sweet Mouth is just this really light pink. And again, it's very neutral, goes with everything. You can wear it on its own or on top of anything, really. And this is definitely one of my oldest products. So I think number 15 will be Fenty gloss in Sweet Mouth. And all right, those are the 15 products. So now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put the products in the everyday makeup drawer. If you saw the everyday makeup drawer for January, I left the whole left side of my drawer empty for project pan items. So I'm gonna now move the camera over there and I'll kind of show you how I organize that, and then we will use the products and do our makeup. All right, hopefully you enjoyed shopping my stash for the project pan items. I just thought that would be fun, and I don't really see many people doing that, so I hope you enjoyed that part. But let's go ahead and get into using the products. So we're gonna start out with Iconic London Underglow Blurring Primer. And I'm gonna try to just use the project pan items. Obviously there's a few things we didn't pick, like I guess mascara and foundation. So I don't have every single product, but we're gonna use mostly the project pan items. I think I might just use the concealer as foundation and then maybe use the powder foundation over the top. We'll see. All right, let's move into the corrector. I'm gonna go with this one, obviously, the Charlotte Tilbury Magic Vanish. Now this one is in the shade medium. So for me right now, this is a little bit deep for my skin tone, but it works pretty well for my darkness because I have not terrible darkness, but my darkness is definitely deeper than like my skin tone is. So I'm gonna go in with some of this. Now this works really well with your finger, but I'm gonna use a brush instead just because it is a little bit on the dark side. I can get a little bit more precision with this. This is just the MAC 217 brush, and I've actually been using this with a lot of my cream correctors lately because it's really small, so you can be like more precise with it, and I've really been liking it for corrector. All right, now let's do concealer. I'm just gonna use this for foundation today. This is the Catrice True Skin High Cover Concealer in the shade Cool Cashmere. And I'm gonna apply this all over, like I said. I think this should be a really good shade match for me right now. So I kind of mentioned, if you saw my everyday makeup drawer video, the one you should have seen before this one, I really want to do this project pan a little bit differently than I've done it in the past. And I'm not going to do, or I won't say I won't, but I'm considering not doing monthly updates with this, like in a dedicated video. I really want to do them a little bit more casually and just kind of update you in my everyday makeup drawer videos instead of doing like a dedicated update video. And I don't know, I may not like doing it that way, and I may go back to doing a dedicated video or like trying something different, but that's kind of what I'm thinking, because in the past I feel like one of the things I've had the hardest time with in terms of a project pan is that each month I would find it kind of daunting to know that I needed to film an update, because a lot of the times I would feel like I didn't have enough progress to show to warrant doing an update, so I would just kind of push it off. And then that would happen like over and over and over again, and then I would just never film the video, and then I just kind of totally fell off of the project pan thing. So I'm thinking maybe if I do it this way and I just kind of update you in the everyday makeup drawer videos, that might help, because I do those videos regardless of, I never skip those videos. So I thought maybe that might help. I don't know. We'll see if that works. And if not, then we can always try something else. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. And I feel like I've seen a little bit more project pan content in the last few days. Now, of course, we're at the beginning of, you know, a new year and a new month, so it could be because of that. But I do feel like I've seen a lot more content and just kind of conversation around using up makeup. So that's exciting. Something different. We'll see if it lasts. Because like I said, it's kind of like how you start seeing a lot of like fitness and wellness content at the beginning of a year, especially the beginning of January, because a lot of people are, you know, really motivated and wanting to like work out more and be healthier and things like that. I feel like decluttering, project panning, using things up, I feel like that kind of falls in the same category as like wellness stuff can, but I don't know. We'll see. Actually, that Catrice concealer is so pretty all over the face, and it looks really good with that Iconic London primer. I don't think I've paired it with the primer before, but now I kind of feel like maybe I have used the Catrice concealer all over like this in the past, and I liked it because it's kind of jogging my memory, but I do feel like that's a really good one. If you own that and you've never tried it like just all over, try it. Let's do some bronzer. I'm gonna do the Fenty first. This is the shade Butta Biscuit, and I've said this so many times about this bronzer, but if you are near my skin tone and you're looking for a very neutral cream bronzer, this one is just so good. The undertone is just, it's just so good. Just trust me. If you're in an Ulta or a Sephora, swatch the shade, and I'm telling you, it's such a good neutral undertone if you're like a fair, light medium skin tone. And I'm using, by the way, the Angie A507 brush from BK Beauty to apply this. Let me know if you are doing a project pan, or maybe you're doing a no-buy. I've actually seen a lot of stuff about doing a no-buy too, but I don't know. I won't say like I'll never do a no-buy, but I just don't know. I don't think I have enough willpower to do a makeup no-buy, truly. And, you know, to have a YouTube channel, unless you just strictly do like panning content or, you know, shop my stash content, that kind of stuff, I do feel like it would be really difficult to do a no-buy, unless I guess maybe you did like a 1 month no-buy or 2-3 month no-buy. But people that are doing like a year-long no-buy, I feel like that would be really hard for me. I mean, like I kind of talked about in my everyday makeup drawer video, I'm definitely working on buying less makeup in 2025. That's like one of my main goals, and just being a little bit more intentional about what I'm buying to make content with. But at the same time, I feel like there's some things that I am gonna want to buy and review. So it's hard though sometimes to find the balance and not go overboard, but still get like things that you're interested in, or things that, you know, your subscribers would be interested in. All right, my memory card just filled up and I didn't realize it. So all I did was I did apply the Mario cream blush in Barely Blushing. So that's what I have on. And I was just saying this, if you're around my skin tone and you like a very soft, neutral, glowy, not super pigmented type of blush formula, you would probably like this. So Love that one from Mario. But now let's do some powder. So I picked the Jane Iredale and I also picked the Kosas. I'm thinking about using a little bit of both just because I want to try to use both. I'm going to try to use this number 55 brush from Sephora, and I'm going to take the Jane Iredale first, and I'm just going to kind of go around where we put the blush and bronzer and just kind of lightly go over those areas. This is not like a super dense brush, so we're not going to get like a ton of coverage from the powder foundation, but this is more of like a matte powder foundation, so it should kind of tone down the glow a little bit because we got a lot of glowy products on my face. And then I am going to use my sad little Kosas powder. I'm going to try to set my under eyes. Now, I think when I've used this in the past under the eyes, I want to say I didn't love it to set concealer, but I honestly can't remember. I'm taking a different N14 brush, different from the one I used for concealer. And I'm just going to set my under eyes with this. Just kind of going over to make sure there's not any major creasing. Honestly, that Catrice concealer does not crease very badly at all. Did anyone else's Kosas Cloud Set powder just totally break apart? The compact, because mine is on the older side, so it's not a brand new powder or anything, but mine, I want to say, broke pretty quickly after I had it. Anyway, let me know if yours did the same thing, because mine is like so broken you can't even like snap it on at all. I'm gonna take a little bit of the powder bronzer, which is Hourglass in Nude Bronze Light, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of this over the Fenty one. And I'm going to go in with a little bit of the Tarte blush. We don't really need it, but I'm going to use the 107 from BK Beauty. And just very lightly add a little bit of that. So this combo, that Mario blush and the Tarte blush, I had these two products in my everyday makeup drawer like a month or two ago, and I started pairing them together and they are just the perfect combo. Like the tone of them just works so well together. All right, let's move into brows. So we're going to use the Anastasia brow powder. We'll just see if I can hit pan on this. I'm going to use the lighter color, so this like taupey one. And I like to apply this with the E75 from Sigma. I feel like I should be able to hit pan on this also, because if you've been around for like a year or so to my channel, there was a time where I literally was only using this. Like I didn't want to use anything else. It was just like a brow obsession at that point. And then I think that was before I discovered the Maybelline Build-A-Brow. So then I started kind of using that just a little, and I got really into that, and I kind of stopped using this one as much. But I still I love it. If you like a really natural, fluffy brow and you've never tried powder, please try it. Even if you just have like an eyeshadow and an eyeshadow palette that you already have, try it in your brows and see what you think. In terms of like other content I want to do with my project pan, I will probably do like maybe another get ready with me style video and use the project pan items and try to like, you know, use them different ways, like use, I don't know, like underpaint with them, or use the eyeshadow palette with different shades and things like that. So I'll probably do a video with that style of content. We'll see. Probably do a little bit with my project pan stuff on Instagram also. Sorry to plug Instagram, but if you aren't following me, follow me on Instagram. It's the same handle, it's just simply.blair on there. Okay, since we did not choose a brow gel, I'm just going to use what's in my everyday makeup drawer for the month, and that's the L'Oreal Brow Lamination Gel. I like this brow gel, but I can't decide if I love it. It's supposed to really like laminate your brows. I don't know if I think the hold is strong enough to really laminate the brows, but I don't really do that anymore either. So I don't know, but I don't think the hold is like the strongest that I've tried. So moving into the eyes, I'm gonna use that rim eyeshadow in the shade Later. And this is, I mean, it's a liquid shadow, but it's very, very similar to my skin tone. So it could also just be like an eye primer. But this is actually a really, really nice matte eyeshadow formula. Going into the palette now, I'm gonna take, I guess, this shade right here. So this is Flower Child, and this is the one I'm probably the closest to hitting pan on. I'm actually shocked that I haven't hit pan on this. And I'm just gonna kind of set and go over that rim shadow. Now, this shade looks a little bit darker than it would if I went on without that rim shadow underneath, so it may show up a little bit more than it typically would, but I think I'm gonna take a smaller brush. This is a 210 from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna go into, well, I'm gonna mix these two, Jet Setter and Smarty Pants. So these two right here, one's a little bit more cool toned, one's a little bit more neutral, I guess. And I'm gonna see if I can use, this may not be dark enough. I was gonna see if I could use these as like liner, like a lighter, like diffused looking liner. These are also like older eyeshadows, so they may not perform like the absolute best, but I guess that's decent. I'm gonna take my brush I used with that first color and just kind of feather over it. I just kind of wanted it like a barely there kind of liner. How many of you still own the Tartelette in Bloom palette? Out of curiosity. I feel like this is one, well, obviously not many people talk about it anymore because it's, you know, been around a really long time, but I would bet this is one that a lot of people still have in their collections. My favorite shade in here has always been this one, which is Funny Girl. Another one that I'm like shocked that I never hit pan on because I do love this shade. So I'm just kind of tapping a little bit of that in the center of the lid. And then I'm gonna take my brush again and just kind of go over the edges so everything looks nice and soft looking. And then one more thing, I'm gonna take, whoops, a little bit of the like white color. And I'm just gonna put a little tiny bit of this in the very inner part of the eye. And I'm just gonna use, I think, what's left on that 210 brush, which is what we used for the liner. And I'm just gonna take whatever is left on this brush on the bottom lash line. One more thing, just because I'm gonna take the bronzer, so the Hourglass bronzer, and I switched to a more pointed crease brush for this. This is a 202 from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna bring a little bit more of that bronzer like right here in this inner part of the eye. I always forget to do this step. And that's it for shadow, but I do want to take the Mario Master Pro Pigment liner in the waterline. Mainly going to focus in like the outer part of the eye. Just applying that in the waterline. For mascara, I'm just going to apply what's in my everyday makeup drawer because we don't have a mascara in the project pan. So I'm applying Maybelline Sky High mascara in the brown color. Finally, for lips, I'm going to use Anywhere Caffeine. This one is just such a good color. All right, and then we do have the gloss that I'll use in just a minute, but I am going to take a little bit of the Mario Lush and apply that. And then last we'll do the gloss that I chose, which is Venti Sweet Mouth. All right, so that is my project pan for 2025. I hope you enjoyed this style of video. I know it was a little bit different than how I've done it in the past and probably a lot longer, but hopefully you enjoyed. I enjoyed sitting down filming this and chatting with you. And yeah, I'm happy with these products. I'm excited to use them. I hope I picked a good assortment of products, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know if you are doing a project pan, a no buy, a low buy, whatever it is. Let me know. Let me know if you like project pan content, and if you do, like I said, I'll give most of my updates in the everyday makeup drawer videos, but I'll try to sprinkle in some project pan, get ready with me, different content here and there. So let me know your thoughts on that, but I hope you enjoyed the video. All my products that I use with shades and everything will be in the description box with links. If you do use my links, I do make a commission that supports my channel. So thank you so much for that. And if you're new, I would love for you to subscribe and follow me over on Instagram at simply.blair and TikTok simply.blair1. And I will see you again very soon. Remember, simply be you.